Good evening, folks. We will begin the meeting. Carrie, roll call, please.
Martin Cazada. Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Here.
Susan Sarin.
Here.
Monica Granado.
Here.
Jose Arenas.
Here.
Jimena. Joaquin. And Milani. There being 4 members, there is a quorum.
Thank you. I now call the regular board meeting of April 21st, 2026 to order. Can I please have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Sue Sarah makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Monica Granado seconds that. Any discussion? Carrie, please take a roll call vote.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Yes.
Susan Sarin.
Yes.
Monica Granado.
Yes.
Jose Arenas.
Yes.
There being 4 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. So if everyone could please stand with us at this point in time, and student board members, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is information only and reports. Dr. Cruz, would you please introduce our student board members and for their updated school reports?
Good evening, Mr. President, esteemed board, student board members, cabinet, and community. It's always a privilege to have the opportunity to have our students share what has been happening at the schools. This evening, we are going to start with Milani.
Good evening, Mr. President. 2 highlights from the schools are starting with Next Horizon. The Eagle School community came together to participate in their spring carnival and festival. Students, staff, and parents had a great time playing games, winning prizes, and enjoying the food. The Eagle Nation would like to thank everyone for their participation, especially Ms. Snap and the Student Council who spearheaded this event. The Desert Horizon community has united to celebrate Autism Acceptance Month, guided by a dedicated autism support cadre team with full support of the team administration. The activities aim to highlight the significance of inclusivity, honoring individual differences, and fostering a supportive school environment. The celebration was a kickoff started by encouraging students to elevate school spirit by dressing in support of Autism Acceptance Spirit Week. Each day of the week reflects the unique ways in which students engage with learning, communication, and self-regulation. Additionally, we featured morning video announcements that included students from the ASK program, providing a platform for their voices. Throughout the week, important autism facts were shared across the classrooms to enhance understanding. To further engage general education and students in this initiative, a poster-making contest was held to challenge their comprehension of autism and promote awareness within the school community. As a culmination, the ASK team will host a special Autism Day school event on the 24th of April to showcase the diverse talents and strengths of our students. These activities are essential in fostering a culture of acceptance and understanding regarding autism. By engaging the entire school community, we aim to break down barriers and create an exclusive space where every individual is valued and supported. This celebration is not just about raising awareness. It is about inspiring compassion, acceptance, and respect for all differences in our educational environment. Amberlea Elementary celebrated a record-breaking turnout for Love Our Schools Day, with more than 20 participants coming together in support of the campus, staff, students, and families. Worked to collaborate to beautify the school, cleaning up the outdoor areas and creating vibrant bulletin boards that enhance the learning environment throughout the campus. In response to social media concerns among 7th grade students, Amberlea Elementary partnered with local program Not My Kid to provide targeted instructions on internet safety. Throughout this training, students gained valuable knowledge and strategies to navigate online spaces responsibly and make safe, informed decisions. Pendergast held an amazing Love Our Schools Day this past weekend. Parents, students, and community members came out to learn about the importance of pollinators, build pollinator stations, and plant pollen-friendly plants in our garden. We even had a musical performance from our 2nd grade that sang about our pollinators. Pendergast is looking forward to our school-wide PBL showcase on Monday, April 27th. All students and classes have been wrapping their latest projects and preparing for this exciting event. Lastly, Westwood. The Westwood 6th grade students waited all school year for the turn with the Dreamscape VR Lab. They were so excited for their first opportunity last Friday. Smiles and excitement as they entered and left the Dreamscape VR trailer. Westwood will be having an AARP experience corpse celebration next week honoring the 7th reading tutors. The reading tutors have worked with 28 second and third grade students all school year on reading comprehension and fluency. The 28 students will be giving the 7 reading tutors a thank you gift provided by the Westwood PTA. And now Joaquin will give us reports.
Good evening, Mr. President. Before I get into my school reports, I would just like to acknowledge that me and 5 other of my student representatives, me and 5 other of my SSE colleagues went to present at the National School Board Association Conference, including Milani and Jimena, our other student representative. And it was just a very, very big opportunity for all 5 of us. And overall, it was just a great thing to be a part of. But now moving on to my school reports, we'll start with Sunset Ridge. Our 6th to 8th grade students demonstrated outstanding teamwork, determination, and sportsmanship as they competed and ultimately won the district flag football championship. Their hard work, collaboration, and positive attitude led them to this incredible achievement. We are extremely proud of our student athletes and coaches for this well-deserved victory and for setting a strong example of perseverance and sport spirit for our entire community. Our esports team recently had an exciting career-focused field trip to Grand Canyon University, where they explored opportunities in gaming and podcasting. Students gained insight into the growing esports industry, learning about content creation, and experienced hands-on exposure to careers connected to digital media. This engaging experience helps students connect their interest in gaming to real-world career pathways, inspiring future goals and possibilities. And in addition to our esports here at Sunset Ridge, we also won the district championship too. So we won the flag football championship and all in the span of 1 week.
Who's counting, right?
He was.
We are incredibly proud of our students and staff for their outstanding performance in Matilda Junior last week, which showcased remarkable talent, confidence, and teamwork. Our 6th grade students brought learning to life through an engaging project-based learning experience by creating original alien creature movie trailers with the support of parent volunteers who assisted with filming. Moving on to Rio Vista. We held a student-led pep assembly to get our kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade students ready and excited for their upcoming end-of-year test. The kids went over some test-taking strategies, linking them to our leadership skills, and then the students got to enjoy some games. We are proud of our Special Olympics esports team that took 1st and 2nd place in the division out of 5 statewide teams. Way to go, Mustangs. And finally, Garden Lakes. We would like to shout out 7th grade teacher and NJHS leader, Mr. Lessie, for inducting 21 new members to our National Junior Honor Society. Congratulations to middle school teacher, Mrs. Smiley, and her engineering students for being selected as the winner of the 2026 Science Buddies Engineering Challenge. The students needed to build a ball run with paper and tape. This school will receive $1,000 as the prize. And now Jimena will give the last reports.
Good evening, Mr. President. The highlights from these schools are Desert Mirage. Desert Mirage work with the next education workforce led to an incredible visit at Via de Paz, where Ms. Tyrell and Dr. Sunau presented on the success of co-teaching progression in the 2nd and 3rd grade. The team shared how their commitment to international planning, collaboration, and reflection has strengthened instruction, improved alignment, and better supported meeting students' individual learning needs in real time. Desert Mirage hosted a chartwell cooking class for Pendergast families, featuring a hands-on cooking demonstration. Families watched and learned how to turn fresh ingredients into simple, nutritious, and affordable meals. The event provided practical ideas for healthy cooking at home that way the whole family can enjoy. Copper King. Thank you to everyone who attended our annual CK's Got Talent show. A special shout out to our fine arts team, Mr. Covey, Ms. Walker, and Ms. Perez for coordinating this wonderful event. This week's opening night for our theater production, Wicked Is As Wicked Does, which will be on Thursday, April 23rd at 6 p.m. The performance will take place in the CK's cafeteria. We look forward to seeing you there. Sonoran Sky. Sonoran Skies PTO and school community volunteers showed up for Love Our Schools Day, Saturday morning, April 18th. Volunteers decluttered and reorganized the library to prepare for future flexible use of this valuable space. Wednesday, April 22nd will be our K-8 Spring PBL Showcase, Countries Around the World, from 5 to 7:30 p.m. We look forward to sharing insights and student-proposed solutions for global challenges of the community. Vieta Paz third graders finished in 4th place in the statewide Read to the Final Four competition. As a result, Vieta Paz received $5,000.
How much?
Vieta Paz Theater, led by music teacher Lil William, will present Aladdin Jr. on Wednesday, April 2nd, and Thursday, April 23rd, in the Vieta Paz cafeteria. All are welcome to come. Thank you all. That's all the reports for tonight.
Thank you, student board leaders, once again, and for your representation all school year, certainly, and for your support and your advocacy and really your leadership at the NSBA recently. And again, thank you for being here. We have one more big meeting, right? And then we're landing the plane. So, Dr. Cruz, if you'd like to continue with superintendent and the governing board updates, please.
Good evening, Mr. President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. We have been busy, and I'm so thankful that all of you are here for the audit presentation that's happening later on the agenda. Thank you. Finance has never felt so seen, so welcome. We do want to make sure to start off by thanking our volunteers. It's Volunteer Week, and we actually get to celebrate our volunteers all month. And so we have an amazing cadre of volunteers, both at the district and school levels, and we truly appreciate everything that they do. And we'd be remiss to not also thank, I know that you all are elected officials, but obviously you do that without compensation. And, your work is invaluable to the children and also just the community in general. So I want to thank each and every one of you for spending your time here, making sure that we're taking care of kids as best we can. And we want to thank all those volunteers out there as well. We truly could not do it without you. We had a fantastic opportunity for learning at the National School Board Association Conference, and we had 5 of our students there that did a fantastic job representing Pendergast so very well. So I want to thank those students for that. Mr. Rendon, I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that you all had finally beaten Canyon Breeze in esports. So thank you for not missing that opportunity to make sure that we celebrated that. And also, obviously, Sunset Ridge winning that flag football game was fantastic as well. But I did see a great Matilda performance at Canyon Breeze. And what was really nice is that the 5th grade student who was the lead in that performance was actually recognized as one of the City of Avondale exceptional students just last night. So that was a wonderful opportunity for her and her family to get celebrated. And so we really appreciated that. And just a fantastic way to have the opportunity to showcase the great work that our young people are doing. We also recently had Assistant Principals Week, and I know we've got some hardworking assistant principals out there in that audience, and so we want to make sure to thank our incredible assistant principals for all the work that they do and their leadership. We've had some more snack and share meetings, and we had a great parent lunch and learn recently as well. You can ask Mr. Henkel what he thought about the Desert Horizon attendance at that. He has very good feedback about that. I also want to thank everyone who did a Love Our Schools Day. Pendergast had over 100 volunteers at their Love Our Schools Day event. We had some other schools that had some really remarkable turnout. We just so appreciate the community coming out to support our schools, and we love that partnership that we have with School Connect. It's true that Vieta Paz got a donation of $5,000 for their Read to the Final Four work, and that was just a wonderful thing. They were so excited, and I love that we had so many of our schools that actually were part of the Best of the Rest as well. So congratulations to all those principals. Thank you so much for making sure that our kids are falling in love with reading. And, because we want to make sure that we beat everyone's child soundly, Rio Vista actually came in 1st and 2nd in the Special Olympics Esports League as well from the state of Arizona. And so we want to congratulate them for their excellence, too. And I think that's all the humble brag I've gotten me this evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz. As we continue with the updates, we will now transition to our governing board updates. So I'll change things up a little bit. Ms. Monica Granado, Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. So it's been a busy 3 weeks, I'd say. Kind of going back, one of the first events that I attended was the Arizona State Science Fair, where I was there to cheer on our 3 science-filled winnings of students from Pendergast, VDP, and Sunset Ridge. So that was a huge turnout from students all over the state. So I was happy to be there to cheer our winning science engineers on. And then next, I did judge the district cheerleading competition. So I had to really pull out some knowledge from my cheerleading days, many moons ago. We won't say how many, but it was great to see our student athletes out there just giving it their all. And then just like previously mentioned, we were at the NSBA conference, and that was great because there were so many different workshops that really rejuvenated, this space, and just there were so many takeaways, so many I'm not even going to list, but it was great to get recharged and rejuvenate there. But my highlight was spending that off time with the students and seeing their presentation. I was filled with so much pride. I was over there with a little tear. Nobody saw, okay, I had to keep it hidden. But you guys just made us so proud. And you should be so proud of yourselves because you had that room standing up, cheering you on. They wanted pictures. You all were little celebrities, and you just filled us with pride. So that was my highlight. We also got to do a little bit of sightseeing, and that was great to explore with you all as well. Since returning, I did attend a few volleyball games. So I love to see our student athletes out there because I think that's a big part of their academic picture, because it's not just their academics, it's all the things that they do and that the district offers for them to do as well outside of school. And then lastly, I did get to attend the Matilda play as well at Canyon Breeze. So shout out to Mrs. Canoeus and Miss Smith there. That was some theater magic there. They had been practicing so hard. I think that they said they started practicing in August. So this was a year-long venture that I was happy to see those Silverhawks just perform at ease. I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice President Granado. As we continue, Ms. Hilda Ortega de Rosales.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things. One is I too attended the NSBA conference, and as Ms. Granado has mentioned, there was some great opportunities to learn more from those workshops. But also there was a great opportunity to network with other fellow board members from across the country. There's always, those opportunities to learn from others. But I'll be a little honest. Most people who we introduce ourselves to will say, "Oh, you're from Pendergast," and it had a lot to do with our students and how well they do in their presentation. And so I too was very proud. And obviously the breakout sessions were great, the ones that I attended. I also attended the beginning of the sessions that are before the conference starts, and that session was excellent. And it's a 3-hour conference or breakout session, but it's worth every bit of it because we just learned so much, again, from the instructors, but the rest of the board members that are there. So thank you for giving us that opportunity, Dr. Cruz. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is we have on our agenda today the First Things First grant that we get. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, that is our preschool Family Resource Center program that is funded through First Things First. And I will tell you, it is an incredible program that's very well managed by all our employees who are in that program. And, for instance, one of the main focuses is parent engagement, parent education, to prepare the parents on helping their preschooler to get the best of the programs that are offered through this grant. And this year they had 240 sessions that our parents could attend that tied to giving them skills and great practices on how they can prepare their child for kindergarten and through the 8th grade. And so we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to solicit for this grant, and I know it's a lot of work to put those things together, but they sure are worth it. I attended the Lunch and Learn, and it was excellent. It had a great attendance, and
The session itself provided for our parents to give us feedback, and it was excellent. I will tell you that the one piece of feedback that I thought was very valuable to us is that the parents who attend the ESL programs where they are teaching them how to speak English, they give us some great feedback on how we can make it better. And, you know, who else should be telling us that but the parents who are attending? And so hopefully we'll be able to take that, their recommendations and try to continue to build on that program. So that's my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hilda Ortega Rosales. Next, Mr. Quezada, Senator Quezada.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First, my apologies for being late, got caught in traffic, but I'm glad to be here with you all. Like everyone on this board and our students, I did get to go to the NSBA conference. And once again, I think it was a great experience, as it is every year, but I felt like this year, the substance of each of the sessions that I went to was better than a few of the past years that I've gone to. They kind of go up and down. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. This year, all the ones I sat in were really good. I know with Ms. Ortega Rosales, I went to that pre-conference as well, and that one was in regard to socioeconomic status in our schools and classrooms. It was a longer session. It was about 3 hours long, but it was really good discussion, higher level thinking, and it challenged some of the members that were in the room who questioned kind of the direction of the conference, but it was very well done, and I learned a lot. I went to another one on from a legal track about when to fight versus when to settle whenever a district gets sued, or when to sue yourself. So I thought that one was interesting as well. I know we've discussed that as a board before, and I went to a couple of sessions regarding student board members, and I think Dr. Cruz sat in with me on all of those. But obviously, because we have 3 great student board members here with us, and this program is one of the things I'm most proud of that we do in this district. But seeing how other districts do that across the country is really, really interesting. There are some states where the students are actually elected. They have to campaign and run for office and get elected. We heard from one young lady who received 80,000 votes to get elected to her student board. That's way more votes than any of us have ever received. And so I thought that was really fascinating. There were some student board members who actually got paid to sit on the board. There were some student board members that had full voting rights on the school board. And so really, really interesting approaches by different states. Obviously here, like our students do not have voting privileges and they're not elected, but I think that their experience is just as valuable. And I think what we are doing here is preparing them to do what some of those other students have done in other districts, and to maybe advocate for more rights once they get up into high school and college, and maybe serve on a board of regents or something one day. So I really like the direction that we're going with our students, and seeing what other students have done across the nation was really interesting as well. And then I sat in on, I think on one other one, I think Ms. Saren was there, about how to win a bond election, which was a really good one too. I thought I came away with some really good ideas there. We'll have to talk about that more amongst ourselves later, but it was a really solid, I thought it was a really solid presentation. And then obviously I think the best presentation was the one that our students led. And when I say our students led it, it wasn't Dr. Cruz or Carrie up there setting the stage and then introducing the students to speak. Our students literally led it from the very beginning. They presented a session to the National School Board Association, to school board members from all across the nation, and they kicked butt at it. I mean, they were great. They did it in a podcast style, so it was there was five of them sitting up on the panel, and they had conversations with each other. They asked each other questions. And it was all engaging. It wasn't awkward. They were all very good. They handled questions from the audience, and they were tough questions that they got from the audience, and they were amazing. It was like sitting in a live podcast. It really was. So I got to say, it was like listening to a real podcast. So I was really, really impressed. by that. I didn't know you guys were going to literally lead the whole thing, but you did. So I was really impressed. So good job. I know we told you before, but I just wanted to say again that you really made us proud. And I think that you set a standard. Even those other student board members that I went to, they weren't leading those presentations. You know, somebody else was facilitating those. You guys led it, and you guys were the youngest ones. So awesome. Just round of applause to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. The only other thing that I'll mention outside of the conference, which was a great experience, but I did get to, and I've been really bad about telling this board and this district about this, but I serve on the Save Our Schools board. I think I've mentioned that before. And we do a book club 3 times a year. And so we read a book that is in regards to education, and then we get online and we discuss it with each other. And so we just did one for this book. It's called Navigating School Board Politics, a Framework for Advancing Equity. And it's written by an educator here at Arizona State University named Carrie Sampson. I've actually gotten to know her very well. She's a very brilliant academic here in our state. And so we just had that book club. And so I'm doing this so that I remind myself to invite you all to the next one, because our attendance isn't great. You know, not everyone likes to go to book clubs, right? But the conversation is actually really, really good, and talking about how to be better board members, how to be better advocates for public education in general, how to be better administrators, and do all of that in a frame that is doing what's best for our kids. And so I thought the conversation was really a really good one this time. So the next book, whatever it is, I don't think we've picked it yet, but I'll make sure I share that with you all and see if you guys can join us. And aside from that, I think that's all I got, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Quesada. Ms. Susaran?
Thank you, Mr. President. There is so many great things going on in this district. It's great to go to as many as they do go to. Starting out, I had gone to the Pendergast Foundation golf tournament. That looked like it was a great success. I know the golfers had fun. There was great prizes, raffle prizes, and a great brunch. So it was a very good morning for everyone. I also helped with the cheerleading competition. And I've got to tell you, all of the schools, all of the cheerleaders did an amazing job. They were all there to win. It was a great evening watching them, and it was really hard, to score everything. But it was a great evening. Also, I went to After the Bell Bites. Our own Chef Jacob, he had the parents and students. They were able to make waffles, and the kids had a great time. They weren't so sure about the sour cream and chives, but they loved the waffles. Thank you so much. And I also went to NSBA, and the sessions were great, but as you have seen, ours was the best. The students were just fantastic, and they did lead the whole thing. No notes, nothing. It was all, and the flow was great. They even got a standing ovation at the end. And a lot came up and asked them questions, wanted their pictures taken with them, asked us for more information. They love the Pillows for Kiddos. That is a service project the kids do. So it was a great presentation. And we are one of the few school districts that take students to the National School Board Conference, and I know ours are the youngest ones there. The others are in high school, so they were fantastic. They were pros, totally. Let's see, I went to the parent workshop. It was the last one. It was Garden Lakes and Copper King had refurbished a bunch of computers, and then they were giving them to the parents. But before they gave them to the parents, they had to take a class. They actually had to take a computer apart, learn all the names of what was in there, and then put it back together turn it on and make sure it worked. It was great. Students from Garden Lakes came and helped with it. Then the parents, after they did all that, they got their own computers, and then the students helped them set up their emails and their Zoom, because they take some classes on Zoom. So now they don't have to use their phone, they have a computer for it. It was a great morning. I went to the esports championship. I actually did understand the game this year. I really did. It was interesting. And Canyon Breeze and Sunset Ridge, they were well matched. And just the control our students have with playing the game, it was great. And congratulations to Sunset Ridge on winning. And the Parent Lunch and Learn, again, it was great. And Dr. Cruz talked about the reorganization. And the parents have a lot of questions concerning the district, and that's good. It is so great to see them. They love coming and they love supporting the district. I also went to the Sunset Ridge planning meeting. They're getting classrooms refurbished over the summer. The teachers had some great questions on what was going on, and Grace Designs had plans that, you know, we're going to, with the classrooms and everything. One of the questions was, you're really going to do all this over the summer and we're going to come back to classrooms? And they were assured that they would have it. So teachers were very pleased with what the project going on. Saturday, I went over. I didn't get to see it all. We had our board retreat, but superintendent student council kids had their last sewing day. They sewed a lot of pillows and they cut a lot of patterns for the next year, and most of the schools are now ready for the kinder promotion. They counted out the pillows and the books, so except for one school, they're all ready. So they did a great job. I saw at Canyon Breeze the musical Matilda. Those kids are so talented, and they have worked all year on it. The play was great. Singing, everything. Fantastic job. I really enjoyed it. I also went to Sonoran Sky, their third quarter awards, and it was great. It was the 7th and 8th graders, and I've got to say that they gave out perfect attendance awards and then attendance awards for if they had missed 3 or less days. A lot of kids got those awards, and I was so great to see that, because we're stressing, you know, attendance is so important. And at Sunset Ridge, they have gotten the word out. So again, thank you everyone for all you do. I mean, you know, evenings, during the day, everything, you're always busy and you always work for our kids and our community, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sue Sarin. So as we continue, and finally, last but not least, in terms of the board updates, I too want to congratulate a celebratory moment for our volunteers, our assistant principals, and I think it's our nurses as well, right, Dr. Cruz? That's coming up. I think it's Nurses Recognition Week or so, I thought, within the next week or so. But nonetheless, thank you, each and every one of you and your employee cohorts for doing what you're doing, because it's a fun time, yet it's very trying, and I recognize that and respect that. You know, in the spirit of just keeping with consistency, our 3 student board members nailed it at NSBA recently. I'm very proud of them. I think, like each and every one of us have already said, you know, I got to know them a little better. Jimena, just your presence, just listening to you, watching you, man. Joaquin, you're a sports guy and you're very analytical. I took all that as we were having dinner, and you were questioning my stats. I'm like, man, this guy knows his stuff. So that is really neat. And of course, Milani, just your story, your narrative. You know, I took that to heart as a young person, that you're just becoming this big leader, each and every one of you. So thank you for doing what you're doing. thank you for doing that facilitating. That's not easy. And I think it goes without saying that, I say this every year, folks, and there's no such thing as over-communicating this, but when you look at where they started and where they're at now, that's a tribute to Mr. and Ms. Pohlmeyer as well. That really is, because again, they supervise them, they're there with them, they walk with them, they watch, they guide, they teach them, and man, what? And I'm sure you feel that too, and I'm speaking on your behalf, but so thank you to you, Ms. Pohlmeyer, of course, Mr. Pohlmeyer. A couple other things. Believe, build, and become. Remember that? That was our theme this year, and it's become, and here we are. And here we are, the 3 B's, you know. My 3 B's are be there, be seen, or be gone. But the 3 believe, build, and become. I mean, so when I listened to that and I watched that, how it resonated this year, it's already, we're 1 week away, folks. You all know this from May. So land the plane safely. Kiddos are excited. Testing season is upon us, as we know. I know I say this every year. I know, and I know sometimes when you're driving to work or from work, whatever you do here in our district, it's very important. Whatever you do, everything from it, you know this, you know the story. It's a lot. But when it becomes hotter and the days become longer, you're taking a deep breath. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart and for what you're doing and what you continue to do. April 18th, this past Saturday, attended a governing board retreat. It was held here. And it was Dr. Cruz's evaluation, and I could just say she did well. So, but thank you, Dr. Cruz, and for your leadership, because oftentimes as you steer the ship and you lead us in the right direction, it's a lonely position you're in, my friend, and we know that. But you're not alone. It's lonely, but you're not alone. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And then last but not least, folks, as we land the plane, I know that as Dr. Cruz will allude to in terms of consent agenda, we have some new hires, we have some new people, some new family members to the Pendergast community. We're really, really excited to have you on board. We have some internal growth, and that's one of the biggest, neatest, most powerful. If you could just see Dr. Brown smiling, hey, this is one of ours, this is one of ours. You know, it's growing your own, and I hope you believe that. I hope you know that this is a good place. You're always, obviously, you know that you're here, but to see you grow, and for your families, folks, admin life is not easy. You know that, and it's lonely. You know that, but you're not alone again. And so when you take this work home with you, you know you are doing a hell of a job. You are. So continue to do that, please. With that said, as we continue. Ms. Carey, are there any citizens' comments at this point in time?
No, there are none.
No? Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
No, kidding. Can't say that. Sorry. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through O?
So move.
Ms. Hilda Ortega Rosales makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Senator Casada makes seconds. Any discussion? Carrie, please take a roll call vote.
Martin Casada,
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales,
Yes.
Susan Sarin,
Yes.
Monica Granado, and Jose Arenas.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. Dr. Cruz, any new hires or announcements you would like to have or make?
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. We're so excited to welcome a number of leaders into either new roles or different roles. We do have some folks who are going to be serving as principals next year. Ms. Froke and also Ms. Palmer Eastburn are going to be serving as principals. They're getting a promotion from having been assistant principals. We want to welcome them into that new role.
Why don't, yeah, stand up.
We also want to thank Ms. Cassie Belford, who's going to be serving as an assistant principal. We're still waiting to figure out exactly which campus she'll be at. We want to welcome you to the Pendergast family. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for serving.
Dr. Cruz actually say this, but I don't want to steal her thunder. You know, you have a choice, and you chose Pendergast, so thank you.
Yes, yes. And we also want to welcome Dr. Michael Wright to the Pendergast team as our Chief Operations Officer. We also have some folks who are joining us as general helpers, instructional assistants, school office coordinators. You know, those are the folks that keep on keeping on and you know, make sure that school is happy and safe and welcoming of our students. So we want to welcome them as well. We also have some folks who are going to be joining our network team. So we want to congratulate them on those roles, and we want to welcome all of our network team colleagues into that work as well. And finally, yes, we are so excited about the Sunset Ridge project that's going to be happening this summer. You know, we keep challenging our construction partners to see what's the next strange thing they can get done. And so this is going to be the speed quality test, I think, you know, for the next few years. So very excited about that project as well. So thank you all very much for approving those recommendations. We truly appreciate it. To all of my colleagues, thank you so much for choosing Pendergast. We truly appreciate you. We welcome you into our family, and we wish you the best in your service here in this community. Thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz. So yes, a big thank you to all of you who are joining us and continue to move up in terms of professional growth. A special thank you to Dr. Wright. Mr. Wright and I met many, many years ago, and I say that because, again, if you align what his family has done for this education community and the ecosystem that he just shared with me. His father is a Tolleson, a product of Tolleson, the Tolleson community. The late Dr. Bill Wright, who was, it's not about me, but many of our, maybe he served as a professor to some of you in the audience. I know he was my professor at one point in time at NAU. And again, Dr. Wright, Matt Wright, his brother, beautiful family. And again, it says a lot about relevancy, it says a lot about practicality, and it says a lot about being a practitioner. So welcome aboard again, sir, and everyone. So,
I just want to comment on something. What we see, what's happening today is that we have individuals who have been, for instance, in a principal role for many, many years and have done an increasingly better job each year. They just, you know, you think, oh, did a great job this year, and then the next year, more great things happen. And I'm using that as an example of moving that person on to a position where it's not just her making a positive impact to our children, but teaching that and supporting those who are now in the position that she was in as a principal. And that's our philosophy, is to continue to grow our employees. And so I know it's tough for you to leave that school. What is it, 20 years? Mm-hmm. 20 years as a principal, and you've done an incredible job. And I know it's hard for you to leave, but think about how many more children you're going to be impacting. I know, and great position for you. But for everybody, this is just an example. There are others who are going from, teachers to APs to principals, and we're growing individuals within our organization, but we're also bringing in new people that will bring things, better perspective maybe on how to teach our children, what to do. Not just the teaching piece, but the support to our kids, because you all bring something good to us. So thank you, and I'm very excited about what we have coming in particular this next year. Thanks to everybody that was involved in all those interviews. Been there, done that. It's a lot of work, and at the end of the day, it's difficult decisions that we have to make. So thank you.
Hang in there, Ms. Siobhan. As we continue, next on the agenda item is presentation information. Presentation only, Financial Services Department fiscal year 2026, capital improvements, financial through bonds, and capital proceeds. This is a presentation. So tonight we have from the Finance Department reviewing the 2020 fiscal year 2026. I would like to invite Ms. Irina Lutz up to get us started.
Is going to get us started, sir.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. They have a plan.
It's okay. No worries. I'm sorry, Mr. Mineski will start us.
Good evening, Mr. President, esteemed board members, Dr. Cruz, members of cabinet, student board members, and our audience. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'd like to introduce our team, Mr. Jamie Triolo, Director of Food Services, Mr. Aldo Perez, who is our System Administrator, Mr. Michael Peedy, our Transportation Director, and of course myself, Brian Winefsky. It's a pleasure to be here. In November of 2021, our voters approved a $53.5 million bond election. Then in March of 22, we held a final bond sale from our 2016 bond election and the first sale of our 2021 bond election. And this total amount was $10.5 million. In February of 23, we held a bond sale of $15 million from the 2021 election. And our excellent, supportive community that believes in us passed a $100 million bond election in 2023. In March of 2024, we held a $20 million bond sale with your approval from our 2021 and 23 bond elections. And then in February of 25, our final sale from the 2021 bond election and a sale from our 2023 bond election totaling $38.4 million. And then finally, in February of 26, a $20 million bond sale from our 2023 bond election. Maintenance has been very busy this year with cafeteria refresh projects, principal office privacy walls, some HVAC projects, including the multi-purpose room at the PCC. As we all know, it gets very hot in there during the summers, not anymore. Roofing projects across the district to ensure that our buildings stay sound and safe. Pendergast cafeteria refresh, you can see the floors and the tables, paint, some principal privacy walls at Copper King and Garden Lakes. At painting projects, we did a stucco repair project here at the district office. The building being well over 100 years old, in fact, almost 150 years old, 1886, I believe, so the portion that we're in right now, we're seeing a lot of cracks, and so we're trying to keep up with those in order to make sure that the stucco stays intact. Our building is totally safe. Cafe wall protections at various schools, weatherization at Westwind, and then painting projects as well. So you can see the cafeteria project at Westwind. Last year we did the floors, and this year we painted, including the roof, because it was the paint was starting to fail and just look odd. Front office, and then all of the hollow metal at Pendergast. Westwind weatherization as well. It's a block building. It has not been weatherized in 2 decades, and so we weatherized that building to make sure that it also is weatherproof and moisture doesn't get into the walls. We're excited about Desert Horizon this year, expending about $7.5 million, but completing the project with our brand new classroom buildings, K8, 3 different buildings, administrative building, parking lot, landscaping, courtyard. It is a beautiful campus, and it warms my heart when I go over there because that courtyard, there are always kids out there.
Yes.
And in that courtyard was something that when we were doing the construction, we went back and forth a little bit about, and I can tell you that what we did there is amazing because it's everything that we would want to see, having a campus that has that space, that welcomes kids, that they can have classes out there and continue their learning outside of the classroom walls. Site exterior work, fencing at 3 different sites, paver project at Pendergast, which is at the request of the principal and has been amazing because after school the kids needed someplace to stand. The pavers seemed like a really great idea to give the campus just a unique look, and it's absolutely beautiful. Exterior lighting projects, we finished those. Those have been over the last few years to ensure safety on our campuses for the evening events and also our staff working. Marquee projects we finished up this year with those, and then building signage also at Desert Horizon. Site exterior work totaling just over $1 million, including playground upgrades and surfacing district-wide. So every single site benefited from those upgrades. Landscape projects at those 5 sites, Amberlea, Canyon Breeze, Rio, and then Pendergast and District Office, and then the Dreamscape trailer site work. And so bringing on 60,000 pounds worth of trailer and truck required us to be a little creative, and the creativity paid off as we have our students in the trailers, and they are getting world-class experience through ASU Dreamscape and the partnership that Pendergast has. And here are just some examples of some playground upgrades, lighting upgrade or landscape upgrades as well, including out here by the district office where we had a new block wall erected, and we needed to do something with the land that Taylor Morrison told us was ours. So beautiful. Safety and security, fire alarm upgrades at Canyon Breeze to bring it code compliant with the sound system. So when there's a fire, it gives voice direction. And security guard and security gate and swipe access at M&T, and then various swipe access projects, including the PLC. Sunset Ridge renovations are a project that's upcoming. We're excited about that. We received our permit from the city, so in record time, City of Glendale really stepped up. We've got our permit, they've approved our plans, and we are good to rock and roll. We're going to start that the day that school literally gets out. We will get it done, and we're excited to transform that campus. Also over the summer, Pendergast Elementary will have a complete restroom refresh and a gymnasium refresh as well, in order to provide the school with just restrooms that aren't 20 years old. Desert Mirage replacement design, and that design work is something that will be taking place over the course of the next year with the students and community at Desert Mirage, which we're very excited about, and then parking lot resurface projects as well. I would now like to hand it over to Mr. Aldo Perez. Thank you.
Mr. President, Governing Board. So IT this year purchased about 650 laptops to upgrade our teachers' devices, as well as 200 Chromebook presses for our support staff, instructional aides, as well as monitors for all of the front offices at our sites. We also completed our intercom systems project, Desert Mirage and Rio Vista. And for our PCC in the multi-purpose room, we upgraded the AV equipment there. I guess just in time for the esports. And our upcoming projects, we are finalizing plans for boardroom modernization, upgrading some equipment, as well as going back to the sites and giving some additional intercom equipment. The basis of it is putting in a digital signage and strobe for high traffic and high noise areas. That way, there's another way for people to get alerts. And from here, I will pass it on to Michael Petey.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank our community for allowing us the opportunity to replace our aging fleet. All vehicles that were purchased this year replaced vehicles that were already on our fleet and were also either 12 years old or older. We're starting with a look at our food service van for the food services department, which underwent a small modification to accommodate staff for catering and school events. We also purchased 2 new wheelchair ADA buses for our ESS curb-to-curb bus routes. And we also purchased 2 new conventional school buses for our general bus routes. As I've mentioned in previous meetings, the decision to switch to the new conventional front engine has saved our district over $100,000 this year alone over the traditional rear engine school buses that are common in the southwest of the United States. Lastly, we're also able to purchase 2 new pickup trucks and 2 new vans for our maintenance department. And next year, we're looking to continue replacing our aging fleet with at least 2 more school buses and 4 new maintenance vehicles. This continues our replacement plan replacing the vehicles that we still have on our fleet that are 12 years or older, and to keep them safe, reliable, and running efficiently. Now, Jamie Triolo for food service.
Good evening. We did some improvements and replacements and upgrades to our schools this year. We added new equipment, replacing some of the things that were at the end of their functioning life. Along with that, the Pendergast School's cafeteria refresh, it made sense to furnish it with new tables. The previous were heavy, hard to fold up, and the seats were getting brittle and breaking. The new design is lighter, and the seats are a little stronger and a little bigger. In response to the growth of the population at Garden Lakes, we had to extend our service line, so we cut a new service window. We lengthened the hot service line and created a better flow. We also equipped the kitchen with more cooking and hot holding ability. I'm very excited about the purchase of the new catering Discovery Kitchen van. As we continue to grow in both catering and student engagement, we need the ability to be two places at once, and this provides that for us. Next year, we're going to continue the tradition of replacing ovens, steamers, and some of the other aged out equipment that's causing extensive repair costs. We're also going to focus on adding some carts and crowd control posts and point of sales to our cafeterias, and that's going to help us provide better, safer, and smoother service. And I will let Brian come up and take it home.
Thank you, Mr. Triolo. As you can see, sites impacted by voter-approved bond dollars, every single one of them. And this is all possible because of our amazing community and the support they give us and believing in us so we can build and become and continue to be an exemplary school district. So we'd like to thank you very much, and if you have questions, we'd love to field them at this time.
Well, I'll just start off with a big thank you, Mr. Vanetsky. I know that, you know, in terms of your leadership and in terms of what you've done the last few years in this not so much new role anymore for you, but I think those eyes and the lens that you bring to this landscape and to, I guess literally, right, landscape, no pun intended, and is something to certainly respect and honor, because again, you've been on the campus, you've been at district, you've been in different leadership roles, and I think that when you're actively engaged like that, whether it's the, as you said, is the, you know, the area outside Desert Horizon, you know, the foyers, the office areas, I mean, all those little things aren't so little, and I think that's what you bring to this space, and that's really appreciated. I've always said that, again, if you have a nice looking campus, then again, it's as simple as when you go to a restaurant and it's dirty outside and it's not clean and the customer service isn't good, you're not going to sit there with your family, right? It's the same with our schools. You know, if you say it's the same with our buses, it's the same with our vans. Those are pretty cool vans, but they could be party vans later on. I mean, sorry. They're really neat. You know, the technology.
You were kidding, right?
The technology that you continue to bring, Mr. Perez. You know, the security pieces to it. I mean, those are. It continues to grow and move. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have an excellent operational team.
Yep, yeah, and you often say that, and that is a tribute to you. Anyone else?
I want to thank you for the presentation. It's good to see and for our public to see, you know, what's going on with the bond dollars, and we put them to good use. And I love the way we show how much, you know, each thing that we do on the campuses costs. And I got to say, Desert Horizon, it is just amazing. I love going on the campus. Now that they're in the administration office, that is amazing. And there's a lot of happy staff there because they just love their new home. And you're right about the courtyard. It's really breathtaking that, you know, you can just see, and all the new buildings that surround it, and you're right, kids are always out there playing and, you know, having fun. But thank you all for your hard work. Food service, you know, you do a great job. You keep things going. Our transportation, you know, IT, everything. We've got a great district because of all the great people, and I want to thank you.
Mr. Ortega Rosales.
I just want to bring up Desert Horizon again. You know, I get emotional over it because that was our third school in this district. It was Pendergast, Westwind, and then Desert Horizon. So it's about 60 years old. Help me, Susan. It's about 60 years old, right, Desert Horizon?
About 50 years old.
50 years old. And yeah, it's had, you know, some renovations, but what was done to that school in the last, it took about 3 years from beginning to end. And we spent a lot of money on that project. But you know what? It was our community that supported all of those elections that we had to make sure that we had the money to be able to do it. And the one thing that just impresses me is that they are the communities that come out and vote and say, yep, we want to do that. And Desert Horizon did it for many years, right? That community. And it wasn't just necessarily just their school, but other schools as well. But look at what we've done for that school. And that neighborhood is an older neighborhood. And if you drive by there, I do a lot of, you know, knocking on doors and other activities. And Desert Horizon is where I usually go because they vote, right? And what I find is they take pride in their neighborhoods. The majority of those homes, even though they're, you know, 50 years old, they've been remodeled, their yards are clean. And so why wouldn't we have a school that is also remodeled, is also clean and inviting? And so I want to thank the community because it was them who made that happen. Every one of those children that go to that school deserve to walk into a state-of-the-art school. So thank you for your leadership.
Mr. Senator Quesada.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think one or two comments, and then I do have a question. But I think the next to last slide, your bond dollars at work, that really, what I really took away from that was that, you know, we've been really good about using these bond dollars responsibly and equitably. I mean, obviously Desert Horizon had the most need, and so a lot of money went there, but we didn't leave anybody out. You know, like each site got the attention that it needed and that it deserved. Right. And obviously there's more more needs out there, but we didn't favor anybody in a way that was inequitable. You know, so it was a very responsible use of these bond dollars for each of those last couple of elections. And so that's been consistent. That's always been the case that I've been watching this kind of us utilize these dollars. And so I guess that's a compliment and a thank you to Dr. Cruz and to Mr. Winefsky and for everyone that makes the recommendations about how to utilize this money. So great job in that aspect. The one question I had was really, it's not like a technical question or anything, just out of curiosity, but Mr. Peavy, you mentioned that that it's not common for schools in the Southwest to have front engine buses, and I'm just curious why.
They're actually a lot more common in areas with more inclement weather, such as snow,
okay.
having the drivetrain in the front. And so you'll see a lot more rear engine pushers, is what they're commonly called, in the Southwest region. I've been told by multiple people that California, Arizona, and New Mexico are the primary buyers of those types of buses. And the switch going to conventional is becoming more commonplace because at least one bus company has shut down manufacturing of rear engine altogether. Another company is pretty much pricing it out of the market because, well, reality is a lot of them have changed their manufacturing facilities over to electric buses. Okay. And so they're really pricing them out because they're not sold as much. Only 3 states out of 48 are buying them. And so, yeah, the last rear engine bus we bought compared to the last front engine bus that we bought is a $60,000 difference.
Yeah, I just found that fascinating, but yeah, thanks for educating me on that.
Of course.
And Mr. Petey, can I jump on that real fast or ask, why is that? I mean, obviously you gave the anecdote in terms of the three out of the, out of the, there's 3 states, New Mexico, as you mentioned, Arizona and California that are supplying or supporting the rear engine bus purchasing, right? Is what I heard you say. Why is, I guess my question is it, you mentioned that, a lot of us, a lot of the, the whole idea of electrical busing and electrical vehicles, EVs and all that. But are they better built? Are they just older? Are they, what's the nature of the crisis here, if it's a crisis? I don't know. Why? Because it's a $60,000 difference, right?
I think it's primarily the way it's built.
Okay.
The pushers take a lot more energy to kind of push all the, like if it's fully loaded.
Okay.
We're talking, close to 20 tons.
Okay.
And so I think it's just the engine requirements. I'm not as familiar with,
good.
that side of it, but I think that that's the primary reason. And so whenever you start talking about places that have a lot of snow, a lot of rain, which we don't get either one of those here in these states that primarily buy them. So I think that that's the biggest factor.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good question. Who else? Yes, you may.
So first of all, thank you. I think at the end of the day, this just shows our effort we put into our community, to our schools, how much we care about them, and the gratitude we have towards them. I think my question would be, are these all considered bonds? If not, what's the difference? And if so, are the bonds voted by the community or by the governing board?
So the presentations that you saw tonight are all bond dollars that were community approved during elections. Some of the funding for these projects came from a 2016 bond election, and then a 2021 bond election, and then a 2023. And so that has afforded us the ability for our bond committee. There's a committee of people that determine how we will spend those bond dollars within alignment with what we told the community that we would go, what we would do with the money. And so when we go out for election, we tell the community, here's what we're going to do. And then there is a team that determines the alignment of what we're going to do with the election to make sure we're actually spending the money the way the community wanted us to. And the result are the projects that you saw on the screen this evening.
Yeah. And Mr. President Jimena, the way that this works is we're essentially asking our community to allow us to go into debt. The community is giving us a loan when they purchase bonds, and then we have to pay that back to them. And so there's only so much debt that we're allowed to have. We have to be able to make good on the loan that the public has given us. And so we asked the governing board to actually sell some bonds after we've paid down some debt. So our ability to sell bonds relates to our finance team. So Ms. Fimbres and our finance team has been doing a really good job managing our debt and managing our revenue to make sure that we can sell bonds that people want. So people still want to give us loans because we do a really good job repaying them. But only the governing board can actually authorize that sale. So this is actually in partnership with the electors, right? So the people who vote say, yes, it's okay for Pendergast to take out the loan, but then only our governing board, when they're on the dais, can actually approve us to sell bonds and actually get into that debt that we ask the voters to approve. So it's a lot of people that get involved, but all electeds.
Yes, and Jimena, the other thing to consider is that the first step is for the board to approve the actual election. So it doesn't go forward until we say, yes, let's ask our public whether they will allow us to have this funding or not.
Yes.
Okay, so I actually don't have a question, I have a comment. So personally, I've been attending Desert Horizon since 2nd grade. So as I grown up, I watched the school evolve, and this is probably the biggest year. Like, we had the biggest change, and it just recently opened up. And I just wanted to say that I absolutely love the new design. Like, I love the sliding doors, the collaborating classrooms together. I like how the buildings are separated with their own libraries. But personally, my favorite thing is probably the grass, the outside area where you can sit down. Because me and my friends absolutely love that. Every single student, there's no doubt that they love it. And yeah, personally, I just like to do it.
You're bringing tears to my eyes.
Thank you. Wow.
And then
Wow.
Joaquin.
Who needs us? I mean, good job. Continue. Joaquin, I saw your hand up.
So first of all, yes, thank you for this great presentation. Like Melanie said, her school has been given renovations and change, and our upcoming school is my school, Sunset Ridge. And Desert Horizon, it's a school that's been around for nearly 50 years, but Sunset Ridge is a little bit younger. And I just want to know what made Sunset Ridge, or any school for that matter, such as Sunset Ridge, be anticipated to be renovated? What are the reasons why?
There were a couple of factors in that, Joaquin. One of them is, and that's an excellent question, and I also want to say I'm super proud of you because I was your principal.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Take all the credit. Right?
Good question, Joaquin.
Sunset Ridge has some foundation issues, and you've probably noticed in your building some cracking in the flooring in the bathrooms and whatnot. We had started a project with the school facility division, which has granted us some money to do some work there. But Sunset Ridge is also aging, and it hasn't had any remodels since it was new. And so because we're already going to be in there doing work this summer, it makes sense for the school to do a renovation at the same time. But there are other factors in play that Dr. Cruz could probably talk about a little better than I, but the type of learning and the teaming and the instruction that takes place in the school's readiness for that. So it's just a perfect opportunity to bring new life onto the campus with a renovation and fixing the deficiencies that we have there.
And just to correct me if I'm wrong, just to clarify, I've always known we had foundation issues. You can just look at the ground because it's cracking. But with that, I know we did some work maybe in the winter, from what I know, just from my little knowledge, and we're just taking the opportunity to build something on top of it. Just getting that opportunity.
So, excellent. So the work that you saw taking place during the winter months was around the administrative building and outside of the cafeteria, where we added storm drains all around the building. So there are actually drains in the ground to be able to take the water and move it away from the buildings. And so you saw a big, large trench drain that was installed outside of the cafeteria. So when it rains now, you don't have a pond of water out there anymore. The water is actually taken away, and it's not getting underneath the slab to make the soil move, because the soil out here is expansive, meaning when it gets wet, it swells like a sponge that was dry, and you add water to it and it moves. But then when it dries again, it contracts. And so that's what's happening at Sunset Ridge. So those projects where the project you saw was the first phase in that, where we corrected all around that administrative cafeteria building. And during the summer, when the renovation work is going on, the work on the foundations of the buildings on the rest of the campus will be done just prior to the renovating of the classrooms. And it works out really well because we already have to tear flooring up. We have to open some walls up. We have to do some different things in order to do the work anyway, so it makes sense to do the renovation then at the same time.
And this is my final question, I promise. All I know, I don't know if we're going to get our administrative building done. Are we renovating our entire school with 3 of our buildings and our administrative office? Or is it just one building, or are we doing all things?
So you'll see that all 3 classroom buildings will look very different on the inside when you come back. The administrative building, the bathrooms will be remodeled. There'll be new carpeting in the front office, and then the hallway that goes between the cafeteria and then the B building. And then the bathrooms in the gymnasium, they'll be renovated as well, and there'll be new paint in there, and then the flooring or the floor issues that we have there will be addressed as well. So each building will get something, but it's the classroom building, the space that the students reside, that is going to get the most change so we can have the greatest effect on our kids and the learning that takes place at Sunset Ridge. And I really want you to come back and see it.
I have a little brother that attends Sunset Ridge, and when it's meet teacher day, I'm gonna be like, "This is the excuse just for me to go."
Do that.
So this is exactly what you saw and what we continue to see at our national conferences and our presentations. So, wow, what great questions. Thank you. Thank you, students. Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mineski. Appreciate your leadership and your team. Thank you. As we continue, next on the agenda is the presentation action items. Financial Services Department will present a fiscal year 2025 single audit report. Tonight we have this second presentation that will be presented by Ms. Irene Lutz. So she's here to get us started. Thank you and good evening.
All right, good evening, Mr. President, esteemed board members, Superintendent Cruz, student board members, cabinet, and members of the audience. So I am here tonight to present our fiscal year 2024-2025 annual audit results, and I am a little bit surprised to say that apparently nothing clears out the audience. That is not why everybody was here. All right, so I'll briefly walk you through why we're audited, kind of what was reviewed during our audit, the audit timeline, the final audit package, and then any findings that we had. So Arizona state law requires all school districts to complete an annual audit conducted by an independent accounting firm. And that just ensures that our financial statements are accurate and that we remain in compliance with established standards. So the audit, as you can see here, covers both financial and operational areas across the district. So it includes financial records, payroll, grants, procurement, student attendance, transportation, and all the other key processes that you can see listed there. And here you can see the audit timeline. So you can see that this audit process spans several months, starting in about August. At the start of August, we kind of start, and then we continue all the way through the spring. So it includes document submissions, audit test work, meetings with the auditors, and then final reporting to the required agencies, and then ultimately everything ends with this presentation tonight to the governing board when we look for you all to accept the audit. Our final audit package includes three main components. So it has our annual comprehensive financial report, the ACFR. It has our single audit reporting package, and as well as the USFR compliance questionnaire. So then taken together, those provide a complete picture of the district's financial position and compliance. And again, this slide's super important to highlight and note really that the district continues to be recognized for its excellence in financial reporting. So for this, we again received both the ASBO and the GFOA awards for excellence in financial reporting again. So this was the 33rd consecutive year receiving the ASBO Certificate of Excellence. And really just that achievement really reflects the hard work of every member of the finance team and their dedication, as well as the continued support and leadership of the governing board. So we really want to extend a big heartfelt thank you to everyone involved for making this possible again. Now, next, this year's audit did have a number of compliance findings, and so you can see on this slide kind of the areas that were impacted by those, so I'll kind of walk you briefly through what those findings were, as well as our corrective actions for those areas. So the first one was for the budget form submission. The district didn't submit the signed budget forms within the required timeline, so that issue has been corrected. The district is now ensuring timely submission of the signed budget forms and maintaining documentation of all those deadlines. Then the next thing was for our cash and student activity deposits. One deposit was not made within the required time frame, so we are continuing staff training with cash handling. We are reinforcing those timelines with staff and implementing additional internal monitoring. throughout the process. For our purchase order approval, one purchase order was created after the invoice was received. So again, we are reinforcing the procedures, providing continued training to our staff on our after the fact process, as well as increasing internal monitoring to ensure compliance. For travel reimbursements, 2 reimbursements exceeded the allowable limits, so we are providing additional training of the reimbursement limits and implementing additional internal review processes to make sure this does not happen going forward. For procurement and conflict of interest, there was a purchase involving an employee-owned business that did not fully follow procurement rules, so we are providing continued conflict of interest training, conducting follow-up as needed on all conflicts, strengthening communication across the departments, and implementing periodic internal monitoring. For student attendance, the first piece deals with calculation. So there was a minor error in calculating partial day attendance. So we are reinforcing the use of the attendance calculator and retraining staff as needed in using that attendance calculator tool. Also related to student attendance, the second portion deals with withdrawals. So one student was not withdrawn according to the required timelines. So we have implemented new procedures, including automated notifications that are sent from our student information system 3 times a week to ensure that the correct withdrawal date is used for all students. And the last finding was for transportation reporting. There were mileage discrepancies identified on 2 of the buses, so we are retraining staff and increasing the reconciliation throughout the year for those pieces, and then monitoring internally periodically to ensure that is accurate. On this slide, you can see historically over the last number of years that the district continues to demonstrate strong financial practices, and you can see again for the last several years 0 financial statement findings. So again, this year there were no financial statement findings, and the compliance trends are also consistent. Now, the next step is for the governing board to accept the fiscal year 25 audit, which is done through a roll call vote. And that's the end of the presentation. Do you guys have any questions? I think that was as painless as an audit presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Lutz. Any questions, board members?
I don't have questions. I just have a comment. I just want to thank you for the presentation. And at the beginning of your presentation, you said, "Oh, everybody left." We will always listen to your presentation, okay? Audit, regardless. We are always here to listen, okay? So I just wanted to preface that. And I did want to thank you. I really enjoyed that last slide. I'm very visual, and I appreciate the history of past audits to kind of show us, especially because I'm a newer board member, so I wasn't here in 2020 to know, what was happening. So it gives me a good glimpse. So I appreciate the detail, and thank you.
Yes, Mr. Excel.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I had one question about one of the findings regarding the procurement and conflict of interest. It says here that the district employee did complete the conflict of interest form, so it was disclosed. I mean, and I only bring this up only because this is one where people could yell at us. If it doesn't it's not one that looks great. But so they did complete the conflict of interest form, but what did not happen? What was the rule that wasn't followed?
So essentially, it was essentially a communication breakdown between departments is what we noticed, that conflict of interest is kind of housed and handled with HR, and then the procurement piece is handled with purchasing. So we really need to bridge that communication of if conflict of interests are disclosed, right, that we follow up with every single conflict and kind of involve purchasing, just so they're aware of what those conflicts are.
So follow-up question then, and maybe Dr. Cruz, I think you want to jump in, but had we had a different organization of our office where the different departments were collaborating more with each other, might that have been resolved?
Well, Mr. President, Senator Casada, I actually strongly dislike this particular finding because the employee with the stated conflict actually does not make any decisions at all about any of our purchases and is not in a role to actually even provide any supervision of other colleagues or staff members, nor did they even recommend themselves for this very small catering job that was done. So this is one of those pieces that is truly a technical issue in terms of compliance, and I personally find it aggravating because it's just silly. But it is what it is, and I think that part of our challenge is always going to be, because we have 1,000 employees, making sure that we're keeping track of each individual as they turn in those conflict of interest forms and make that transition essentially across departments is just going to be a piece that we all need to be mindful of and be intentional to have those conversations. So, I'm actually hopeful that there might be some ways that we can automate some of that work as well, to actually flag, some different organizations if this were to come up again. So we'll see. We'll see what our systems will allow us to do, because it would be nice to be able to automate this kind of thing so that we would have an alert.
Thank you. That's all I got. Thank you.
Question. So this is our 33rd consecutive year in getting the award, which is the Excellence in Financial Reporting and the Certificate for Achievement of Excellence in Financial Reporting. So I need to get a sense of, how important is this, right? And so when we look at districts, say just in the Phoenix area, do most of them get these awards, or do you have that kind of information? I mean, how significant is this for us? 33 years.
Mr. President, Ms. Ortega-Rosales, that is a great question. So I mean, I know, right, obviously the consecutive, that is great news for our district. In terms of the other districts and how many of them actually get them, I'll have to kind of do some more research and then get that information.
It's just curiosity, because not getting audits is what our goal is, right? I'm sorry, getting findings in our audits is our goal, but that means we would have to be perfect, almost. Right, and you just gave us an example of one, where you have, 1,000 employees. It's hard. It's very hard to manage that. So if we had that information, then we could then determine, well, yeah, not that we're not going to work on what was found, right? But to give it that scale of, is it something that we really didn't do real well, or is it human error, more training, that kind of thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lutz, again. And I find that, 9 findings is probably 9 findings too many, right, but on the other hand, we're addressing them. We're modifying our practices. And I think that when you look at the operational piece of our district and what we do, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form making light of this. That's not what I'm doing or downplaying it, because we're serious about this. We want to address it, as Senator Gonzalez brought up, in terms of that particular conflict of interest issue, but we are, and I think that it says a lot about the operational pieces and that we continue to grow. It's an evaluation, and evaluation is about growth. The evaluation is not an I got you, or should be, right? And I look at audits like that. Again, I'm not an auditor. I'm not playing finance person here, but I do know that this is significant and we're moving forward. So thank you for your presentation, Ms. Lutz. Can I have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 single audit report as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Sarah makes a motion, Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Hilda Ortega-Rosales seconds that. Carrie, please take a roll call vote.
Martin Casada?
Yes.
Hilda Ortega-Rosales?
Yes.
Susan Sarin?
Yes.
Monica Granado?
Yes.
And Jose Arenas?
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. All right, as we continue, action for discussion here, we have a governing board to review and discuss the 2026 political agenda of the Arizona School Boards Association, also known as ASBA. The board may consider action to submit proposals for update and/or amendment for the association for consideration. So what we do now, folks, is the board will reaffirm the top 5 priorities that we have and also may submit 2 additional priorities that we would like to be presented to the Legislative Committee to consider. Board members, obviously collectively and individually, will have the opportunity to provide, have been provided the ASBA political agenda as well as our submissions. These are reviewed and moved by May 15th. That's our target date, right, Ms. Carey? I'm looking at you because I know you're always supportive in moving forward with this. So this is the fun part of our annual conversation, which in the spirit of transparency, I won't say it. But anyway, so let's continue. So I believe presented in front of us, board members, are the last year's, if you recall, last year's political agenda items. Our top 5 is presented as a board, and then it's reviewed. And Ms. Sue Saran has been our leader and has been our spokesperson liaison at ASBA in the September conference. Is that correct, Ms. Sue?
Yeah.
For the last few years, yeah. So thank you.
Martine did it
Oh,
the
that's
year
right. I'm sorry.
before.
Senator, yeah. You get that extra stipend. So for doing that Saturday, I'm sorry. Ms. Lutz is like, nope, there goes another check mark. No, so sorry. It's just no good. So we know that this is an important part of what we're trying to do. Is we present to the Legislative Committee, to ASBA, our concerns that are relative to our landscape, our community, and really our student population and employee cohorts. So in front of us, folks, is the political agenda. I'll just go through the top 5 quickly, if you don't mind. I'm not going to read it in its entirety. And I'm looking at the right document, Ms. Carey, correct?
Yes, so
okay,
these
yes.
are the ones that we presented
Yeah,
last year.
in the past, okay. So number 1, just so the audience knows, is one of our top agenda items is repeal the constitutional aggregate expenditure limit via legislative referral to the voters. That was our first priority as a board. 2 is fully fund all-day kindergarten and include kindergarten students in the override calculations. That's been really big for our community and many communities for that matter, but supporting full-day kindergarten. 3, support policy that promotes social emotional wellness is a critical component of improving social climate, safety, and learning for all students and staff. SEL has been a big component in our lives, folks, the last few years, as we know. And I would even say BC before COVID. So I would even say just during COVID. 4, rethink and redefine the role and process. Rethink and redefine the role and purpose of standardized testing and develop meaningful assessments and other measurable outcomes. And in our top 5, our number 5 of our top 5, oppose legislative efforts to ban educational and supplemental materials to provide an inclusive and historically accurate, well-rounded education. And oppose efforts to ban diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's been a big priority for our community. Our 2, if you will, we had 2 more. Those were like our backup. 6 was repeal any program that gives public funds for private schools, vouchers, also known as ESAs, and private school subsidies. School tuition organization may prevent any future expansion. And then number 7, 2 of the additional ones that we had. Support legislation and access to funding that would allow school districts to offer school meals to all students free of charge. That's been a big, every time I think about, or when we talk as a board about school lunch programming, I think of myself, probably each of us have our own narratives. And Senator Casada a few years ago, he probably I know he won't forget this, but a few years ago brought up the whole shame law, if you recall, and you discussed it eloquently and very well. And I remember being one of those people where, one of those students, right, when hey, you're not being isolated, but you have a brown paper bag because you don't have enough money for lunch, and or your application, they go through it. We don't do that here, and I know that's why number 7 is there. I've said enough, folks, so let's begin conversation as we move forward. Anyone like to begin? We certainly can. You certainly can. Okay, this is going well, so.
I can start. You know what?
I was going to.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done this a lot of years, so I want you to do it.
Okay.
25, if I may be correct.
There you go. Well, I just wanted to go over that the 5 that you just listed that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
had agreed on last year,
Yes,
4 of those are still the same for me. So the 4 that are still the same for me, is the fully fund all-day kindergarten, to advocate for that, and then to support the policy that promotes social emotional wellness, and the standardized testing, and then the opposed legislative efforts to ban educational and supplemental materials. So those four were the same ones.
Can you repeat the last one you just
Two
mentioned?
through five.
2 through 5.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
okay.
they were in order. 2 through 5.
okay,
Those
okay.
were the ones, after looking at the list, because they do suggest, there is a huge page of suggestions. A lot of them are similar, but a lot of them are different. But those were the 4 core that I still, would advocate for. There was one that I wanted to see what you all thought of and to bring it to light let's see, if I look, it's on the back page of all the suggestions. Is it on the back page? Hold on, bear with me. Oh, it's not numbered. Maybe it's not. I'm just going to read it because I have it here.
Okay.
It's to oppose legislation to make school boards partisan. That was one that kind of jumped out at me because I'm a big believer that school boards should stay and remain nonpartisan. Just we're in this public education space that I think the focus should stay on children with all extra out. So that was my addition. And then there was one other that's, because I had said 4 to keep the same, but I think ESA vouchers was listed on there.
Yeah.
But we had it as number 6, so that was the one that I would still want to keep as number 6.
That was our backup, if you will.
Yes, it
or
was
our-
a
yeah,
backup, but for me, that was part of my top 5.
Okay, so that would have, so then that, in your case, that would have taken number 1 out, maybe?
Yes, taking number 1 out.
It's in,
See, I do listen.
Yeah,
So,
But-
so go ahead, Ms. Rod, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Those were just my overview of what I researched.
So, Ms. Granado, what I hear you say is you like to stay in your eyes and in your thinking with the 2 to 5, with number 6, which was kind of our backup, move that into a top 5, if you will, right?
Yes, and then the other backup one was the opposed legislation for making school boards partisan.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes, and that was a suggestion that, yeah, opposing legislation seeks to make school board elections partisan. Okay.
So can I go next, Ms. Granado?
you
Thank
sure
you.
can. Thank you, thank you.
You know, when we do this every year, I ask myself the same question. Why are we doing this?
Exactly.
You know, why are we doing this? Because we struggle every year with none of them going through, and if they do, it's a partial, it's just not worth it, what they give us. And again, it's all the political, stuff that's out there. But in my mind, like anything else as an activist, I want to be in the face of those individuals that make this decision and not allow them to get us at a point where we're like, so why? Why do this? And then they can walk out very cleanly, when they do not take any of the priorities that we give them. And we're not the only district that does this. Every district in our state is doing the very same exercise. And so, in my mind, we continue to do it because it's important, and to make sure that our legislators understand that we are serious about this because this is the best for our kids. In my mind, I looked at all of the ones we did last year, and I don't think I would change any of them. Because some of them are broader, that gives us more leverage when they're a little broader. It's just important. We need to have kindergarten, that's the main one. And in fact, preschool is what we should have. It's just, our children need that development because there's so much research out there that says their development starts when they're days old. And the sooner they're exposed to good child development, the better they will do when they go into first grade. We're not even going to call kindergarten because that's not funded at the level it needs to. So that's just one example. And we're about serving these children. And unless we do things like this and move forward with it, we're going to be changing our children. And you do that, you're shortchanging our community.
Well said, Ms. Ortega Rosales. Thank you, because again, you took some of the words out of what I was going to say. So thank you. Thank you. Next, Senator Casada. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Margie.
Well, and I'll let you go because I don't want to kind of go into but I wanted to kind of preface with, I guess, and I say this because this is how I try to frame my mind in thinking about this, and I don't know if it'll help like us as a group as well, but I try to have like 3 goals when I'm coming up with these, and number 1 is I don't want to include an issue that we know is already going to be included, right? So we don't want to waste a vote on an issue. Like, so there's some issues that we just know that every district is going to be, submitting that one. So we don't have to waste our vote on that, and then we can, and that leads to my second point was we use that space to highlight an issue that probably isn't going to be included. But it's an effort that when I served in the ledge, I tried to do this, is try to stay ahead of the curve kind of politically and normalize topics that the rest of the group just wasn't there yet, but try to push us in that direction. So I try to not waste a vote on one that's already going to be there, include an issue that might not be there, but then 3, this kind of balances it, is I don't want to mistakenly assume that an issue that we care about is going to be there when it might not be. So I want to be cautious to not push things out that are really, really important because like we need them to be in there. And I don't want to just assume that they will be because everyone else is going to vote for them. So I'm betting that other districts aren't having the same mindset that we are in terms of like strategically placing issues. And so I think we've done that in the past with our issues and but for example, I think number 1, repealing the aggregate expenditure limit, I can pretty much guarantee ASBA is going to move that. They're all in. That's not going to go anywhere. So we could, and that's really important. Like I'm 150% behind that issue. We do need to repeal that. It's a ridiculous law. It makes no sense. But I don't think we need to include it. We may not need to include it. I don't know, but we may not need to include it because it'll already be included. Number 2, fully fund all-day kindergarten. I think that's a really strong one. I think that ASBA will go full force with that one too, but I don't think as strong as some of the others. So there's a chance like that one is a little bit more on shaky ground, but I'm still very confident in it that it'll be included. Number 3, I think that's one that there's a big danger. Number 3 is not going to be included in the ASBA agenda. So I do want to include that because I think that issue's under attack just nationally, and so I think that one's worth keeping. Number 4, that one was one, I think did I ask it last year or the year before? But I know I suggested that one because that was kind of a one that nobody was talking about. But I wanted to throw it in there because I was like, what the heck? We might as well talk about it. And again, try to stay ahead of the curve and force the conversation on that issue. So I like that one for that purpose. But I'll also say that if we need that space, I think that's one we could, if we need that spot for something else, we could sacrifice that.
Senator Casal, to your question was...
It was last year?
Yeah.
And then number 5, I think that one is in danger of not being included as well.
Yes.
So I feel strong that we should include that. Number 6, this one, to be honest, I'm a little hesitant on this one because the Save Our Schools and the Arizona Education Association, they are actively pushing a ballot measure right now. They're collecting signatures right now to put this issue on the ballot. If it goes on the ballot, this may not be an issue that we need to focus on because it'll go to the voters and the voters will decide about putting restrictions on vouchers. So, but I mean, that's a big risk because they have until July, I think, to collect those signatures, and they're actively doing it now. I think they're in a good position with those signature collection, but there will certainly be legal challenges to that. So, and that's been knocked off the ballot before, so it's kind of shaky. But I think if it makes it to the ballot, that's a space we could use for something else. And then number 7, I like that one because I don't think others are going to include that, so I like it a lot. But so that's kind of my thought process on how we got here and where we're at. But what we can take away and add, I guess we can talk about that more later. But
Thank you, Senator Casas. So far from 3 board members, what I've heard is a little bit of the top 7 seem to be intact. We didn't talk particular order, but seem to be intact, with one outside one maybe being submitted, and that was the whole nonpartisan conversation that Ms. Granado brought up. And what I heard Senator Quesada also say was that you know, again, there's his three tenets, his three pillars of how he thinks in terms of moving forward. So I get that, and then listening to Ms. Ortega Rosales, she's right on, I believe, in saying this again, and that was my whole point, folks. I don't want to waste people's times. That, you know, we go through this every year, and to what degree, what platform, where we're at, I don't know sometimes. But anyway, Ms. Sarah.
Well, I remember last year at the delegate assembly, it was brought up. It's like we have pages and pages, and nothing ever goes through. So consolidate. Do like, you know, the top, you know, 3, 5, whatever. Don't do, you know, 50 or how many, because nothing is getting done. Pull the resources to the most important things. And I think school districts are looking more and more because, like you said, Hilda, it's like, here we go again, because nothing changes. And ASB does not appear to have the clout, but maybe if they worked with, you know, others and then, you know, consolidated and did some top ones on funding and, you know, different things like that. So I say, aside from that, we should keep pushing ASBA to really rethink how they do this, because this has gone on for years and years and years, maybe not 40, but, you know, years and years, and maybe we need to look at it differently. And that's mine. I like what Martine said about some of these, they're gonna have anyway, the aggregate, the full day kindergarten. I like Monica's about the opposed legislation for partisan, you know, for the school board. So many school boards, there's so much infighting now, then you add Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever to that, there's going to be a lot more. And so I like that idea of putting that in.
And if I'm correct, I didn't follow that, but that bill moved this year in the legislature. So I don't know if it went to the governor's desk. I'm sure she would.
Which one was that one?
The one that would make our seats partisan.
Oh.
Right.
And so that issue's gaining strength.
Yes.
I do know that ASBA doesn't like it. I mean, and I'm fairly confident that most of districts won't like it either. But I'm 100% behind that issue too. So I'm okay with including it.
Okay, so Carrie, in terms of logistics and administrivia pieces, tonight we share this. We don't have to formally accept or approve anything yet because we have a May 5th board meeting. Is that correct?
We could do that, yes.
Or we could move forward and of course affirm or approve today.
Right.
Okay. Just so with that, but I think we're there, folks. For what I'm just listening to, you know, to each of you collectively as a group, that I think our top. So I like our top 7 that we've had. I mean, you know, I feel very comfortable with what we have. I lost my notes again, sorry. But, and with the, with what Ms. Granado, Vice President Granado brought up, adding that whole element of, or that whole piece of the opposing legislation regarding partisan elections, right? Now, the question is, which one would we want? I think I could hear you all. Which one would we want to consider deleting or moving out, if you will, for lack of maybe? I know Senator Quesada mentioned the ESA piece, that's a particular, that particular conversation is taking a different legislative pathway, if you will, right? So I think that could be one that we pull out and keep all the other ones in there, because again, I agree. Folks, we've done this. There's been times we've worked hours on this, and it doesn't go anywhere, and I'm sorry, but it doesn't. You know, and poor Sue and Martine or Senator Casada, they're on Saturdays.
We cannot give up.
So it's not about giving up. I'm not talking about giving up. No, I mean,
It's just doing a
but
different
again, I mean,
strategy with ASBA and.
So
no, absolutely.
If I may, I think number 1 is going to be. And thank you, Senator, for bringing up your strategy, because I think it's a good one. You know, you learned well in the legislature. So my thought is, number one, we not include that one. And I like the idea of what Ms. Granado has brought up in terms of the nonpartisan, because it's close, you know. It's like what happened the year before in the 2024 elections. Petitions were digitized, and you could go in and get whoever you wanted to sign your petition digitally. Simple process. Except for school boards. Doesn't make sense to me, right? And this is not political, this is fact, right? It was not included. So thinking back at the time when COVID was going on, and knocking on a door to get, you know, petitions, why would they do that to the school boards in this state? We can all answer that question, right? So we need to make sure that we ourselves are not bullied and we are given the importance that we deserve as school board members, that don't get paid. We are voluntary board members, where other elected positions do get some monetary pay for what they do. And so we need to continue to say, you know, we're not the crumbs on the table. We are just as important, if not more important, because we are making a difference with your children. So I think take number one out and add that one so that it's the noise continues.
Which one's that one again, Ms. Ortega Rosales? The nonpartisan?
The nonpartisan.
The nonpartisan, yes.
Because what I heard you just mention was the digitizing the petitions. That's actually a bullet on here too. So I didn't know if you wanted to add that in, or you're just speaking of just the partisan part.
I saw that one. I saw that one. And my only concern is that there are so many other important things. And you know what? I have knocked on doors at 115 degrees for the last, I'm not giving my age, but I started at 13 knocking on doors, you know, and I could do it a few more years so that we can get another agenda item in there that's more critical.
Absolutely.
And to that point, I really like that concept as well about school board candidates collecting their signatures online, because that's how legislative and congressional candidates do it. I think I even ran a bill to do that when I was in the legislature, but one of the reasons why it hasn't been done is more of a technical issue. It's that each county, they don't have kind of the technical ability or funding to even make their system comply with that. Because right now, the legislature and legislative and congressional candidates all go to the Secretary of State. So it's like a state level collection of those signatures. But for school board, we do everything through the county. Right. And so like you look at Navajo County, like some of our smaller Santa Cruz County, I mean, they can't get it done, you know, because they just don't have the technology. So it's more of a technical and logistical issue than anything else. Yeah. But I know that there is desire to do that on both sides of the aisle too. I think Republicans are interested in it just as much as Democrats are, and so they're talking about it. They're not there yet technically to be able to do it.
Well, there's money for other stuff.
True.
$1 billion a year on, you know, stuff, right? So in my mind, make it important. Make it a priority.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point.
But we need to stand up to that.
Before we move on, I had a question about two issues. One, I do have concerns, and I don't know if this is the right place for it in this document, because it's ASBA and it's not NSBA, but just maybe taking a more public stance on federal funding, Title I, IDEA, and the threats that are coming to that money. I don't know if that's something that should be put into this, but I think that's a real threat.
It is.
And so that's one thing that I had considered. I don't know if, because this is a state level organization, if that rises to a level where I'd want to replace one of these others, but I do want to put that on our radar, and I want us to talk about it just because I think we should, but that I do have that concern. And I think the other one, which I am more leaning towards including it, is immigration enforcement around schools. I think that's a big issue, and it impacts attendance, it impacts enrollment, and it impacts public safety, and that's still a threat. And so whether it is opposing that at the federal level or proposing safeguards to be put in at the state level, I think that's something that we should talk about, especially given our district where we're at,
Right.
population that we represent. And it's a major concern that I have
Yeah.
in the work that I do.
Yeah, and you should add mental health.
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
Do that.
100%, yeah.
Well, is, to that question, is number 3 not, is mental health not social emotional wellness? Or can that be included in there or not? I mean,
No.
they're separate, but.
I think the way that you're saying it is it's an immigration issue.
Oh, okay.
And what impacts, because of where we are today, what is the impact? And I was just recommending that we include the mental health piece because kids don't come to school when they're afraid that their parents may not be home when they get home that afternoon. So, and how can you learn that way? Think about it. All of us, we're in school, in elementary school someday, right? A long time ago. And I know I probably would have not done real well in school because I would have been worried about my parents and that I may not see them again. So that's why I think it needs to be added to that piece.
But to that point, staying on number 3, I'm not fixated on it, but can we add that element?
That's what Carrie was saying.
Yes.
To that, to number 3, and that is the whole, if you will, immigration piece, the mental health piece. I mean, I don't wanna, how would you say, I don't wanna water down how important this is, but adding that in there, I think does affect the social, I mean, that's a pillar, that's another element to the social emotional wellness piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid to go to school because A, B, and C.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
don't
affect
oppose
my
that
mental health.
approach.
Right?
Just tie it, just put the immigration piece in there.
Like add it under the rationale part of it?
Right.
And
I
in the
mean,
statement, yeah.
social
Add in the
climate.
statement.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm okay, I'm cool with
I
that.
can work
Good.
with Martine again, like we have in the past.
Have Martine write it up.
Could you?
Yeah, yeah, we work together.
Martine, there's an extra stipend, Miss Lutz. An extra stipend. Check mark number 3 for. Okay.
Send me the form.
Are we good?
Are you okay with that, Senator
Yes.
Casada? I think that's a great idea.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Was it your idea, Carrie, or mine, or both? That's a good idea. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so as we continue, I think what we're at, we're going to, Carrie, I know you're really good, Ms. Pomar. We're taking out 1, right? Because we feel that number 1 is going to be.
It's gonna go through.
Okay, through the legislative process, another pathway. We're going to keep fully funded, all-day kindergarten, correct?
Yes.
We're going to keep number 3 a little more robust because we're going to add some elements, some verbiage to it.
Yes.
We're going to keep 4.
Yes.
I think that is important. 5, we're going to keep. 6, we talked about kind of the same thing, right, Martine? I'm looking at you only because of your background at the legislature. I know we talked about, that's kind of taking a different pathway to that ESA, right? Or were we thinking about keeping it in there? What do you?
I don't know, I kind of want to hear you guys' opinions. I mean, that one's kind of risky because it's just the timing of everything right now.
Yeah, because
They're working on that.
Yeah.
I'm confident they'll make it to the ballot, but, I mean, I'm not 100% sure.
I think that one's so important that we
Yeah.
leave it.
Okay.
It's so critical.
Yeah, and then it would emphasize the
Right,
the
the
ballot
importance.
measure anyway.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
comfortable with that. And then,
7.
I love number 7. I mean, unfortunately, I love number 7, but I mean, I just think that's important
Yeah,
that we keep that one in there.
but we have an extra space still,
Yeah.
right?
It can
Yes.
still stay
Yeah.
on there.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that's so the last one is
This one.
the nonpartisan
The
one?
nonpartisan
And the
one.
nonpartisan is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm so sorry, Mr. President.
Okay.
Did you want that to be number 7, or what is the order? Is
So the
that an
top 5,
alternate
folks,
or a
remember,
top
so
5?
what we've done is we've narrowed it down to our 7. The top 5 are our top 5 political agenda items that we take with 2, 6, and 7 being our backup.
Alternatives.
Alternatives. So to Carrie's question, are we gonna move the Ms. Granado's ours, our conversation about nonpartisan elections to the forefront? What's the feeling? It is building
We
momentum.
decided we don't want one.
I know.
So, and I don't think,
Question,
I don't think that 1 through 7, taking out 1, actually it's 2 to 7. There's not the number isn't a value of order.
Oh.
It's just
Just top 5.
including them.
It's just
It's
the
just
top
including
5,
them,
you're
right?
Okay.
I have a suggestion too. Next time we do this, I don't know if we're gonna finish with it today or we're gonna, go on with it the next meeting. I would like for us to have something on the board where our audience is able to see what it is that we're doing. We have it in front of us, but they don't. And I know if I was sitting there, I'd be a little bit confused. And it's important for them to know specifically what it is that we're supporting and not supporting. Make that
Okay, as we continue, I don't know if we're gonna, go ahead.
Sorry, Mr. President. So are you good then? Like you got the order of those or?
No,
Okay. I didn't think so. So I would suggest, and you guys tell me if this is good. Our top 5 is the current number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5, and the new one.
Opposing.
And then the 2 alternates are number 6 and 7.
And then these are still 6 and 7.
Yeah.
So Vice President Granado, the opposing
Right.
partisan elections would
That'll just be
move
the
up to
new
the top
number 1.
5? Okay.
Right.
I know we do have some questions still from our student leaders.
Yeah, what do they think? I want to hear what they think.
Joaquin?
That if I was able to, speak on this matter.
You can.
You can. You're a student board member.
Right, so, as somebody who is very much interested in, things that involve my peers, and also this school board, I noticed, I believe it was, Ms. Monica Granado, something about a partisan, school board. I just think that's, on behalf of my peers, that's a crazy idea. Somebody said previously, school boards are usually already crazy enough.
Not the board members, though.
Right.
The infrastructure.
This board, but when you're adding the already now disputed, conflict with, the Democrats and Republicans and other parties, you're only going to expect a more divided sort of school board, right? The only people that are being affected by that essentially is the students and staff.
Wow.
And that's just personally what I believe, especially in a crazy idea such as a partisan school board. So I strongly dispute that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for that input.
Anyone else? Student leaders? Go ahead.
So for number 3, support policy that promotes social and emotional wellness as a critical component of improving social climate, safety, and learning for all students and staff. I think that's so important because how can you expect a child or anyone in general to learn if they feel unsafe by themselves? Because academic success and well-being goes hand in hand. A student cannot fully focus, grow, or achieve their full potential if they do not feel valued, supported, or safe. I think mental health is so important, and no one can convince me otherwise. So I have just something to think about.
Thank you.
In the world we live in, all the divisiveness, the craziness, and then we have young people like an example tonight. That's when I feel good about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So thank you for those thoughts. With that said, I want to put you on blast. No, I'm kidding. I want to ask you a question. Any of you, the whole conversation about that same pillar, that same element you brought up. Is it good to add that whole element of the immigration piece? Are you supportive of that?
In my opinion, I think Ms. Hiller is right. How can you go to school when in the back of your mind it's my family isn't safe, my parents might be gone by the time I get home? That's terrifying. and that goes into mental health, because mental health isn't something you can just cure, right? It's something that I personally have struggled with, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. So for that thought to be in a child's mind, my parents now might be home when I get home. It's terrible. So I think it's very important to prepare, and it's just a terrifying thought.
Thank you.
Thank you. God, each of you just continue to move us. Thank you. Really, how inspiring. Joaquin?
Like Hina said, it's just, the mental aspect. But honestly, it's mental and it's the political, it's the agendas that in the current age people are pushing onto teachers, school board members, which is something I'm ashamed of, from the federal level to the state level to the local level. And we need to take action. Thank you guys for taking action. These such this agenda. This is something I very much agree with, especially the key points that we want to highlight. But yeah, mental health, partisan school boards, those are two major things that I believe in. And thank you guys for acknowledging that for sure.
Thank you. So with that said, did you say something? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there you go. So with that said, can I don't know if I could make a motion. Can I make a motion as the president? Of course I can, huh? So I want to make a motion that we continue to utilize 2, 3. I don't need to read them because they're already public. They're already in 2, 3, 4, 5, and add as our top 5 the piece on the opposition to legislation regarding partisan elections, with the idea of keeping our 2 alternatives, 6 and 7.
Yes.
Correct?
And with adding the immigration piece.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes. And the piece on number 3, on supporting policy that promotes social emotional wellness as a critical component of improving school climate safety learning, is that we add the element and verbiage regarding our matters with immigration. Okay. All right. So.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Senator Casado seconds that. Any discussion? That being the case, Carrie, please take a roll call vote.
Martin Quezada?
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales?
Yes.
Susan Sarin?
Yes.
Monica Granado?
Yes.
And Jose Arenas.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. All right, folks, as we continue our future board agenda items, any future board agenda items that I had one, I forgot what it was, but we can bring it up next time. But anything for the future in terms of board agenda items? I do want to remind everybody that May 5th will be our last formal governing board meetings with our student board members, so that'll be very special. So just keep that in mind.
And it's at Copper King.
Oh, it's at Copper King.
I know it's at Copper King. Just kidding. I didn't know that, but Copper King Elementary School, so that'll be good, right? You're getting used to me, huh? No, you're not. With that said, after we adjourn, a quick commercial, folks. After we adjourn, I would like everyone to please join me. We do have to formally adjourn the meeting, but in wishing 2 of our student board members a very happy birthday. Miss Jimena is celebrating her birthday this week. And Mr. Joaquin is celebrating a birthday. So please ensure that you stay with us, but we do have to formally adjourn. And then last but certainly not least, we also have a very special person celebrating their birthday as well, somebody very near and dear to us, and that's Miss Carrie Pohlmeyer. So, can I have a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting of April 21st, 2026?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Monica Duran makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Susan seconds. Carrie, please take your roll call vote.
Martin Quezada?
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales?
Yes.
Miss Susan Sarin?
Yes.
Monica Granado?
Yes.
And Jose Arenas.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Meeting adjourned. Happy birthday